YouTube? This your boy Oscino Fly, back with another review, and this time we are reviewing The Acolyte. Now, this is coming off the Star Wars series starring Amanda Stenberg. I believe I said her name right, Amanda Stenberg. I used to want to call her Amanda. But if you want to know what the Acolyte is about, basically according to IMDb, an investigation into a shocking crime spree pits a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past. As more clues emerge, they'll track down a dark path where sinister forces reveal all is not what it seems. So basically, it's like a crime murder mystery for Star Wars. Now, going into this, I want to disclose a few things. One, although I watch all 9 movies of Star Wars, I don't really consider myself a Star Wars fan. But I did watch all episodes. I did watch The Mandalorian. I did like The Mandalorian a lot. I watched Ahsoka. I did like Ahsoka. I haven't watched some of the other ones, so I'm not real familiar with the Star Wars lore. So my opinion on this show specifically is coming from a very, very, very casual standpoint, and so don't expect me to go into like many details about stuff that I don't know about. I'm not one of those dudes that, you know, that cries woke every time I see a female lead or something, or a person of color in the lead. All right, it's like anybody could play anything, a lead could play anything, as long as the writing is good, as long as the film is good, as long as it's enjoyable, I will watch it. With that being said, The Acolyte is boring as fuck. I am sorry to Amanda Stenberg, because I do think she can act. But for some reason, when I was watching this, I fell asleep on every episode. I'm not going to hold you. Now, before I dig into what I think the problem with The Acolyte is, let me just say some positives about this. I think it's shot beautifully. I think this is some of the scenes that, you know, that show some of the planets. I think they have very, very, very beautiful shots, and from cinematography wise, I think it's very good. Also, the fight scenes in there, I think the fight scenes were done very well. There was some that was okay, but there was a couple of them that I really did enjoy, especially the first fight and the last fight. Getting into the show, yes, I found it very boring. I think the writing is very, very subpar, and the worst part of this is the pacing. I think the pacing is very fucking slow and god awful. There was some times where I was just bored, and it seems like they was about to get into stuff, and then they really don't. And then it seems like they about to jump into some things, and they just really don't. I understand it's not going to be as action-packed, which is more or less like a crime thriller, but you also kind of figure out who it is. So most of the time, most episodes is about the cat and mouse game. The characters, I couldn't grasp on to any of the characters except for Soul. Maybe the bad guy. I think he was called the Stranger. I can't say, I don't know his real name, but the Stranger. I couldn't grasp on to any of the characters except for Soul, because I felt like Soul was the other one that I felt like sounded like he gave a damn, to be truthful. And his character, the way his character was portrayed, it was just like he had the secret. I really wanted to tell you, but for some reason there was things that permitted me to tell you from what happened, and it was just they was doing it to try to save you. The writing is it contradicts itself a lot, especially in the 8 episodes. It's just, and then also it was just some scenes where I felt like, why didn't they just do this? Spoilers, because I know because a lot of people didn't like the last episode except for the fights, and I was the same way. This was maybe episode 7, but and not to jump everywhere, but just to keep my thoughts straight, there was a scene where like he was using the Force to try to save the twins on these platforms that was falling apart, and instead of the twins, you know, trying to run to safety to get off the platform which was falling, they stayed there. And then, like, need I mind you, the middle of the platform is gone. There is nothing. It's just nothing but like, because I think they're inside a volcano or some shit like that. But it was like molten lava at the bottom. The floor is lava. But he was using the force. Soul was using the force to hold them together, trying to save them. And instead of leaving the platform, or at least running to the platform, they tried to go get closer to each other, which I don't know why. It was like the dumbest shit ever. And you know, the back of my head was just like, so none of y'all gonna run? And then to me, even so, it was like, although he was using the force, I feel like he could have yelled, "Get off the platform," just so you could save each other. They didn't do that. That was one problem. The story contradicts itself a lot, and especially the main characters played by one Amandla Stenberg, but she played two characters who at first you thought they were twins, but they might be the same person. And because of some things from a casual, and like I said, this is coming from a casual standpoint, so like it was kind of explained, but at the same time, I just it didn't grasp me until, you know. But it was just like, okay, so now they're the same person instead of twins. So you would think that, okay, if one thing would happen, would it affect the other, or is it just one of those? Like, there's a lot of questions that I feel like it was unanswered. May and Osha, both of them was wishy-washy, and that is my biggest pet peeve of anybody, if you just wishy-washy, because throughout the whole series it was like, I'm going to do this and then don't do it, then I'm going to do this but don't do it. I'm going to kill him. No, I'm not going to kill him. I want him to face. All right, I don't want to be a Sith Lord. Okay, I'll go be a Sith Lord. And it's just like that throughout the whole thing. It was just like, do you make up your fucking mind? And there's a lot of things, like I said, I'm not big on I don't know much of the Star Wars lore, but I feel like there was things in there that, okay, how does it work? It's just like, does it work, does it want to, or does it work because they know? Because like, how do you erase someone's memory all the way like 16 years back? Because it's like, and then but for some reason she doesn't remember she has a sister. Like, she wasn't remembering enough to like to know that you erase everything to the fire. And that's what he did. He wiped May's memory, spoilers, to the point where like all she remembered was the fire and Soul killing the mother. But you don't remember that you have a twin sister, in which you don't grew up with, so you would know this. But then, and the whole thing with the Soul is trying to explain to Osha what really happened. Like, he could have been explained, and this was another part, and this is just bad writing, which is another problem with the show. It's just like, it's bad writing, where it's just like, you could have been told this person what really happened, since you was there and you was really, and you have a grasp on was really understanding. You could have told this person what happened, and yet you didn't the whole time. And then the one time when you get the chance to, you admitted to killing their mother, but it was for self-defense, and she was killing your sister. But yet, instead of like trying to explain that, she tells him to stop talking and then kills him. Spoilers, which is another problem. Like, I think they killed off their best character. Now, granted, this might be Star Wars. I don't know if he's going to appear back later or not. That's left to be said. Like I said, I don't know how the fucking Force works. But for a lot of it, it's just boring. Like, don't get me wrong, even some of the scenes where I feel like it could have went somewhere, it didn't. And it was just taking too long just to get into the scenes. And there was just some episodes, it was just like, what are we doing here? And I understand, like most first seasons and most stories, you're building the world, so it's going to be a slow pace. So it's not going to be all action-packed, but still felt like you could have done more. But at this, and not to look, I don't even want to contradict myself, but it was just things that, even though the pacing was slow, it was still a lot left, and then it was still a lot more to be questioned. And as a casual watcher, that confuses me. It was like, what is the motivation? What is the purpose? I felt like I didn't really get a good solid motivation. I really feel like I didn't really get good solid purpose. Did you want to kill, like the whole time May wanted to kill all the Jedis that, that I guess hurt her in the past, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I don't want to kill no more. And then it's just like and then Osha was trying to find it's like I said, it's a lot to just be done. And more or less, I don't know, like I heard now granted, like I didn't watch a lot of reviews, but I did hear that she kind of, like a lot of people was telling people the show's bad, because I caught on late. I'm not gonna lie, I caught on late. I binge watched it. I caught on late, and she was mad at a lot of people. She kind of blamed misogyny, and I want to say this, and then I will bottom line this whole review. Most of the shows like this, and especially when it comes to strong fan bases like Star Wars, you better be lore accurate. And I mean lore accurate, or they will not accept it. Like, you seen how the guy who plays Superman, when he was doing The Witcher, and he was like, we got to do it right, or we got to do it at all. And he made sure it was accurate to the lore and not disrespecting the lore of The Witcher, not doing no stupid ass thing. You want to make sure we're on track, because if you disrespect the lore, you disrespect the fan base. And if you disrespect the fan base, they're going to give you their critique. And it's not even a big, and like, you cannot blame it on misogyny or not seeing a female lead. There are there are a lot of shows where it has a lot of badass female leads, like Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. Like, if they would have done a Metroid Prime movie with Samus, you gotta do Samus right, or like people are gonna complain about that. Or if they did Bayonetta, and Bayonetta all of a sudden gets a movie, you gotta do Bayonetta right, or people are gonna have a problem with it. It's not that people don't want to see a female lead. It's just that they don't want sometimes y'all will try to put your own personal messages in there, and it kind of like deteriorates and it takes away from the lore. Or like, y'all will take these well-known IP projects, try to do your own spin on them, but then y'all disrespect the lore and then a lot of people get angry with that, which I feel like is a big no-no. It has a fan base for a reason. But the first thing you cannot do is disrespect the fan base that's been carrying the genre for the longest. And that's what I feel like a lot of these people do, especially when Amanda Stenberg, when people didn't like May and Osha. And granted, like I said, the show was boring. You kind of like gotta eat that. Or at least if they was going to give it season 2, you got to be like, okay, how do I make this season better? Because I want, I don't want to disrespect the fan base. To me, it's just simple as that. Now, overall, I feel like like I said, this is coming from a casual. Like, I didn't even get to like, I'm pretty sure if I was like a Star Wars fan, or like a diehard Star Wars fan, a hardcore Star Wars fan, there will probably be more to it that I'm not even refuting, because I'm pretty sure the Star Wars fans will tell me the other stuff that they fucked up that was really wrong with it, especially when it comes to like the Force or anything that was going on with it. Also, if you were to introduce someone that's new to Star Wars to one of the shows, this is not the show to do it. The Mandalorian, yes. Ahsoka, yes. Star Wars Clone Wars, yes. But not this one. This one, I feel like it'll leave you with more questions. And then once you find out the lore, it's like, why didn't they do it this way? I feel like that's what I kind of got in the watching this show. And again, look, I'm all for female leads. I'm all for, you know, I love seeing my black brothers and sisters in movies where they're the lead. But at the same time, I'm not going to just cheer you because you're black. The writing better be good. The actions better be good. The qualities better be good. It has to have quality for me. I'm not just going to root for you because you're black. We have enough of those. I want you to root because you bring me a great quality. Like I say all the time, I thought Pose was one of the best TV shows on TV because the writing was phenomenal on it. And it got me into a story that I wouldn't even cared about. And yet here I am watching every season and like telling you how great the show is because of the writing. And that's the show is about and that show is LGBT heavy. And that's saying something. So what I refer the Acolyte to people, no. Even I would say, look, just watch the fight scenes. If they're on YouTube, just watch the fight scenes on YouTube. The fight scenes are like the best part. Like I said, it's shot beautifully. I will also say that the camera work on here to me is pretty excellent. But other than that, I think I would give this a hard pass. Just go watch something else because this ain't worth watching. But let me know what you think. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I got wrong? Is there anything you liked about it? Or is there anything you didn't like about it? Let me know in the comment section. Today my name is Oscino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.
Fancy ass man wear glove with rings, flying around town in a tub of wings. Found out how to make love to fiends. He mixing that fudge with the drug of dreams. She too teenage to have a drug of choice, but she fuck with that Royce like she love Detroit. She rolled. Pharaoh.
Aha!